Self-guided tour takes 45 minutes.
That's where the encampment was.
Reno's men faced westward as Indians began to circle from each trench. Pressure from all directions convinced Reno this portion was untenable too. He retreated after 30 minutes of action and back up this way. Retreat!
This is not where the last stand is. This is another. There's the last stand right up there. These are other sections of the battlefield here where different detachments of Custer's men were wiped out. See the tombstones out here. Calhoun Hill. Other detachment of Custer's men were wiped out here. going to travel along the ridge here that Custer would have traveled on. Some more tombstones way out in there. Here's some isolated. These tombstones were where they fell. They tried to keep the stip markers where they actually fell, and right there is the site of the last stand. So you can see we're still about a mile or so from where the last stand actually happened. Then we're going to go through the museum next. But this is like an auto driving tour here of the battlefield. We're getting closer here. There's the last stand marker.
Breastworks and fought to the end.
Right here is the last stand.
On the morning of June 27th, after the Sioux and Cheyenne had departed, General Terry's column arrived and hastily buried the soldiers where they had fallen. Looking out over the battlefield today, you will see white marble markers showing where the bodies of soldiers were found after the battle below and among the surrounding hills. Warrior casualties probably numbered between 30 and 40. In addition to several non-combatants killed in the village by stray bullets. A year later, the remains of the officers were taken for reinterment elsewhere. Custer was buried at West Point. In 1881, the granite memorial was placed atop the hill, and the remains of the soldiers were gathered from the field and placed in the mass grave at the base of the stone. This is hallowed ground. Men from two very different cultures died fighting for their beliefs. The Battle of the Little Bighorn was at once the greatest.
So this side not open straight down in the deeper ring there. There's supposed to be 20 more markers down there.
All were overwhelmed and killed. Today, the battle is more accurately reconstructed. Recovered artifacts by the placement of soldiers' minds on the battlefield and accounts by Sioux and Cheyenne warriors. Evidence suggests that three of Custer's companies took position on what is known as Y Cartwright Ridge, 1 mile to your left. The other
Here's an actual diorama in the museum of some of the fighting. Some of these, this is the last stand here. The other one will be the Reno-Benteen thing. Let's see here. Notice how you can't really see the Indians at all. They're kind of hidden in things. Now this is the Reno-Benteen affair that was down below the ridge. The Little Bighorn River there. The scene after the battle where the soldiers are being relieved of their valuables, etc. scalped also, as you can see. There's a soldier there whose skull was found, and they made a wax figure out of it, what the person actually looked like. That was a famous archaeological object. It was also, there was a book written about it. This just shows a map here of the Little Bighorn and the topography. Like I said, you may want to pause some of these spots, put your camera on pause and check out, read some of the things that are in focus enough to be read. Once again, this is the Reno-Benteen thing here, where he got surprised. He chased after some Indians, got surprised, and this he got defeated here. This was a mile or two from this happened before. Here we see the last stand. You can just see the desperation here. The soldiers, all their horses down, arrows in them. Driving toward take about an hour. We hit all the spots on here. So if you're not able to make it to this wonderful historic site, hopefully this will give you some idea. Some of the famous artwork in regard to the last stand is also present in the museum, as well as there's like a weapons display type. To see who's the President of the United States at the time, was Ulysses Grant. It's a Chief Sitting Bull. Here we are driving away from the site. Just kind of looking back along the road here. Some of the Badlands here. More of the Badlands areas. You can see the wind really blowing. Now here a second we're going to hit where Crazy Horse is supposedly buried somewhere in this area. You'll see the signs for it here coming up in a second. Right there. Supposedly it's buried out in there somewhere. Right out in there, where the legend had it, Crazy Horse is buried in that area, right in there. Now, part of the Badlands here, we're near where the Wounded Knee Massacre took place. This was kind of payback. The 7th Cavalry did this. Custer's men, or the people that were later to become part of Custer's. Here's an Indian here. Hard to hear him because of the wind. The wind here was blowing it so hard that day.
Okay. They were camped right here on this site, right here.
This is the Wounded Knee Massacre.
Right.
the actual massacre took place. Right here. Like I said, the village of the prophet or whatever was, you know, right in this area here. And here's the the names of the Indians. See that Chief Bigfoot's the actual tombstone where they were buried, and then see the old buildings. Part of this was from the second Wounded Knee, where the FBI was involved. Some people were holed up in that house.